Good morning and welcome to yet another very exciting episode of Politics Titbits. I'm Nathaniel Sunest, and today we have a very special guest in the house. Our guest in the house today is a solicitor and advocate for Supreme Court. He's an astute consultant and counsel for various organizations. He's an active member of the Nigerian Bar Association, very passionate about social justice law. Our guest is also an aspirant for the House of Assembly in Isiala-Mbano constituency under the platform of ABGA. He's a youth mobilizer, community volunteer, and one of the promoters of the Not Too Young to Run movement. He's a devout Christian, happily married, and is currently a volunteer of the Prison Rehabilitation and Welfare Action, PRAWA, a non-governmental organization that seeks to promote prison reforms, justice, security, and social development. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Roosevelt Mbamara. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you. Yes, we need persons who understand what the polity is, especially in this time in our nation's history. And so let's begin with PRAWA. What's PRAWA and your involvement? How are you involved with PRAWA?
Well, PRAWA, Prison Rehabilitation and Welfare Action, it is a British Council sponsored NGO, a non-governmental organization. It's an organization that is involved with reforming the justice system in Nigeria. We all know that the justice system here grinds very slowly. And by that reason, we have too many awaiting trial inmates in prison custody all across Nigeria. So PRAWA's core mandate is to go to the prisons, look for these inmates who probably committed very minor offenses, who have served time in jail, whether justly or unjustly. So our core mandate is to go to the prisons, get their case files, accelerate their case files with the aim of ensuring that they are expeditiously handled. So basically, PRAWA's core mandate is to rid our prisons of awaiting trial inmates. So my law firm partners with PRAWA because I have a passion for social justice, like you said earlier. So my law firm partners with PRAWA to achieve its mandate. That's basically my involvement.
Oh, that's nice then. Yes. That's nice. Okay, let's still go back to some of the things I've said here. What about your involvement with the Not Too Young to Run movement?
Well, the Not Too Young to Run movement, it's basically a movement that seeks to promote youth participation in politics. The Not Too Young to Run movement has too many platforms. It has too many platforms promoting it. So basically, there are too many components of the Not Too Young to Run. There's the age reduction bill that is subsisting. Well, I wouldn't say subsisting because the National Assembly, all arms of the National Assembly, have passed a law, to the effect of age reduction, to encourage persons from between the age of 25 to 30 to run for offices, various offices. That bill is waiting for presidential assent. And you and I, we well know that we just...
The president
yes,
said something about
yes. So basically, Not Too Young to Run is to encourage youth participation in politics, in the political process, in the electoral process, all processes, leading up to producing leadership in Nigeria.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay. That said, we're talking about young persons being getting involved in the polity and taking place, grabbing power. How feasible is this in the line of everything that's happening right now? We still have the old war horses everywhere. So what can be done actually to get the old horses to lay back and let the young ones take the reins of power?
Well, I would say young people participating in politics is not really about grabbing power, And it is even wrong to say young people haven't been participants in the political process. What's Not Too Young to Run is preaching is for positive participation in the process.
Okay.
Because at least, since I became politically conscious as an adult, since 1999, since I started following politics, as a young adult, youth, I would say, have always participated in politics, but in the negative ways. Youth have been willing to these old hawks, like you mentioned, to perpetuate, political thuggery, to perpetuate ballot box snatching, all negative vices in the electoral process. So what we are preaching is for positive participation of the youth in the political process. And I think it's feasible because if you look at our contemporary world, nations are encouraging youth. Look at Canada, look at France, look at several countries, who are being governed by youth. So the fact that the world is tilting towards a knowledge-based economy, and we need people who can be able to, take advantage of our contemporary world, who can be able to effectively play in our contemporary world. And I just feel, by my assessment is that it's only youth that can guarantee that.
Right.
So it's very much feasible. It's very much feasible in Nigeria for youth to, take up leadership responsibilities.
Okay, just a few days ago, Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, we had the Democracy Day.
Yes.
We have had close to 18 years of democracy in Nigeria. And let's leave the past and come to what is present. How would you rate the present administration as regards delivering the dividends of democracy to the people?
Well, I would say yesterday I had mixed feelings about Nigeria's Democracy Day celebration.
Okay.
It was a sober moment for everybody. I'm not sure anybody celebrated it just like we used to do on social media, and there was no buzz, about Democracy Day because court orders are flouted. All the institutions that make up democracy are not in place. Free press, an independent legislature, so many things that make up an ideal democracy, I wouldn't say are in place in Nigeria. Some people are in detention even when they've been granted bail by the courts, so it hasn't been a bad journey anyways, because as they say, the worst form of democracy is always better than the best form of military rule. So I would say that Nigeria's democracy is still evolving. Okay. It's still evolving, but we have come to the point of our development when we should, try and test the new generation, try and test new generation of leaders. Yes, so with the old hawks still around, there is nothing to celebrate about our democracy.
Okay, quickly, what are three major things you think Nigeria should focus on right now? Like, I mean, whether a young person, whether middle-aged, old person, if you are in power, what are the three key things we should focus on right now? What are the things we're like?
Well, I'm passionate about Nigeria moving away from a mono economy, depending on oil, as the only driver of our economy. Okay. Like I said earlier in the course of this interview, the world is tilting towards a knowledge-based economy. Mm-hmm. So what I would like for us to do is to elect, leaders who are creative, because very soon our oil reserves will dry up. And if they dry up, what kind of leadership do we have in place that will cushion the effect of oil drying up? How do we begin to harness other sectors of our economy? So basically, my biggest wish for us in contemporary times is for us to move away from an oil-based economy. Try and focus on other sectors. There are too many other sectors that are untapped in Nigeria. I don't need to begin to mention them. So we need to move away from a rent-seeking economy where states go to the federal to collect federal allocations. We need to, restructure Nigeria. There needs to be true federalism, whether we'll go to regional, however we'll do it, but let Nigeria's federalism not just be on paper, let it be in practice. Okay. So that's basically my central wish for Nigeria, really.
Okay, that works for me. All right, now let's leave Nigeria and try to wrap this up, because I want to go back to Imo State, where you come from. Imo State is for me, it's a little troubling because I do not see, it's a little wobbly for me. So what do you think about the governance in Imo State, and what do you think can be done to change this?
Well, in general terms, I I will give credit to the current government in certain areas. The current government, if you want me to assess the current government in general terms, I'll give them credit for opening up the state capital, in terms of the road network. Okay. But, well, people will always say that we have a governor who I will say sometimes is clownish, in his approach. We have a governor who doesn't really recognize, due process. We have a governor who prefers to do things according to his whimsical bias, I would say. But then, well, he has tried in some other areas. I give him credit in some other areas, like opening up Owerri and all that. So basically, that's it. Well, whether in 2019, the fact that he's leaving soon might just be a relief. Imo people will be offered a new opportunity to, elect a leadership that will be creative, a leadership that will rebuild, sort of. And I think it's only my party that can guarantee that, rebuilding process. My party, the All Progressive Grand Alliance.
You have keyed me into that. Okay,
yes.
The All Progressive. Yeah. Okay. Now tell us about now your own involvement, because I within reading all this, I realized you're an aspirant for the House of Assembly in Mbamara. Give us a hint about that. What exactly do you think you want to bring to the Mbamara people?
Well, having practiced law for the past 8 years, I was called to the Nigerian bar in 2010. Okay. This has always been my my calling, I would say. This has politics. I've always wanted to use the instrumentality of law to, engineer social change in our society, and the only way I can do that is through politics. So I feel, having practiced law, having been in intensive law practice, I've been a litigation lawyer, I've been a corporate lawyer, an armchair lawyer, I've been a street lawyer sometimes. So having seen it all, I feel like I have all it takes to, assist my people. I know their needs, I've lived their struggles, I continue to live their struggles. So I feel I have everything it takes to reduce some of their struggles to proposals, to bills, to laws, that will help, better their lot, in the House of Assembly. So that's basically it.
Okay, that's cool. So the Mbamara people can expect that you're going to use the instrument of law, like you said, to transform things within.
Yes, definitely. My legal exposure, my experience basically will be brought to bear to ensure that we make smart laws, for the people, to ensure that we use our constituency. We use the instrumentality we put the instrumentality of office to good use in our area. There are deficits in the area of education, in the area of healthcare, in the area, so many areas in our area. So I feel I have everything it takes to bridge the gap, for our people.
All right, let's take your final word, because we're about to run off. Let's take a final word as regards youth and polity in Nigeria today.
Well, like I said, the topic should be youth and meaningful political participation, because youth have always participated in the political process. This is without prejudice to youths who have made positive strides, who have done positive things in our political space. But then a large number of youths have participated in the political process in very negative ways. Thuggery, election, ballot box snatching, and so many other things that the elders use youth to perpetrate. So my final word would be for youth to stand up, be encouraged, be courageous to, take part in the process by way of voter education, by any way youth can take part in the process, can participate in the process, by way of contesting for elections, So I will encourage the youths. This is their time. The future belongs to us. The future belongs to us. So we should participate in the process that helps to shape our future. So let us not be discouraged. Let us be encouraged. That's my final word.
All right. Thank you very much for having come. We've all heard it. It's the final word. Youths must participate positively to ensure that the Nigerian political sphere changes for everybody. Do not forget, I remain myself, Soon as Nathaniel. This is your Naija TV. Please do follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Your Naija Entertainment. Thank you.